What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from RC Nightmare. I feel like I might have said the quartering in a different video. You might be saying, why the heck are you unboxing a Stampede 4x4 VXL brushless? There's nothing new about this monster truck, and there's a million other options out there that are mildly different. For example, you have the Sledge, which is more of like a truggy. You have like a bigger scale short course truck, like the Slash big scale, 8th scale, 7th scale, whatever they call it. You obviously have stuff like the X-Max on the bigger side. But when people ask me, Jeremy, how do I get into RC? What would be a good spot to get into RC? I always tell people, now if you have the money, I mean, going brushless right away, going, to a kind of a bigger, higher end machine, it's gonna cost you $300-400. It's not exactly the cheapest entry point, but for people that have the means and they wanna just get something that is going to rock right out of the box, the Stampede 4x4 VXL is my #1 choice for newbies into RC. Why do I pick the Stampede 4x4 over like the Slash, or like something from Horizon, like the Sentin, or Low C, like the Baja Ray, or some of these other kits? Well, first of all, I would never tell someone to jump right in on like an X-Max and have some like 70-mile-an-hour death machine barreling down on you until you learn how to drive these things. That's obviously a big deal. This gas-powered Low C5T up here could break some ankles if you're not careful. So it's a great entry point. Now it is brushless and it has a top speed of 60. So if you're a little bit younger, you're a parent looking, the reason I also say this is you can gear it down and you could run like 2S batteries instead of 3S batteries. So you're not roasting, your kid can grow into this. They can start going, 30 miles an hour is pretty quick. There's another reason I picked the Stampede 4x4 VXL. And that's quite simply, you can run it 99% of places other than like outright in a lake, okay? Long grass, short grass, gravel, concrete, whatever you want, you can run this because it's got the ground clearance, it's got the big tires, and it's got enough juice to do it. If you go with something like a Slash 4x4 and you have a big unkempt field, you're gonna burn it out because you can't run through super duper tall grass all the time. Even like a Sledge is a little bit better, but all these low center of gravity, short course trucks and truggies, and I guess you could compare it to like the Big Rock. I would probably give the Big Rock a shout out, another place to start. That's a little more expensive because it's a little more scale, but the other thing is part support. If you're buying locally, you're always gonna find parts for your Traxxas Slash or your Traxxas Stampede 4x4 VXL in this particular case. So what is it? It's a monster truck Slash. It is the same steering servo, the 2075. I always upgrade that to a little bit better, a little bit faster and more powerful steering servo, but you don't have to out of the box. These also run the Sledgehammer tires, which is an upgrade. I think they're from Proline, I thought, or I could be confusing that. This obviously has oil-filled shocks. This also has the nice body mount system. It's got the Valenian, probably 3500 brushless, which is what I assume it is. And you also have, in this newer model, you have the Extreme HD outer driveline and upgraded suspension components. This thing is going to be able to take a beating and keep on going. It has the self-righting technology. No RC driver worth their salt will ever use that. Either you get off your rear end and you go get it, or you learn how to rock the throttle back and forth to flip it back over yourself. But that said, you also have the Extreme HD outer driveline suspension components. So you have the max duty drive shafts. You've got the steel wheel hexes, the caster blocks, steering blocks, hub carrier, shock towers, HD suspension arms, and the oversized sealed bearings. So this has a lot of the upgrades that a lot of guys and gals would have been doing on their own up until this point. Again, I know that it's crazy for me to be telling you like, a great starter spot for an RC car is $400. But if you're not new to the hobby, that's one, that's not even that crazy for price, and two, what it's like. I never want to suggest somebody gets into something that's going to break on them right away. If you're new to the game, you're going to break your RC. If you're old to the game, you're going to break your RC. So I don't want to suggest like, oh, go get a Red Cat or this, that, and the other thing, where every part you're going to have to order is going to be mail ordered. Nobody wants that. Once you're more experienced and you know the kind of stuff you're going to break more often, then I think it's totally fine to kind of get a little more risky with your, your choices. I absolutely love this new color, this new color scheme for the Stampede. The old Stampede that I always had was red and black. Let's see, where's just a single spot to remove the body. And it's also got reinforced cage underneath the body, which is great because you're gonna break these things. They're used to break them more often, now they last longer. It used to be a thing when you bought RC cars, if you were a basher, if you were someone who was gonna jump it and do all this other kind of stuff, you bought another body right away that was thicker Lexan, that was gonna survive. This one is a little bit more ready out of the box. Completely waterproof, another big plus, especially if you're like in the Midwest, well, really anywhere where you get snow in the winter. You wanna lose half your season of RC to snow. In fact, for me, the only time out of the year that I can even run RCs is winter. So this one has the Valenian VXL 3S, so it goes a max of 3S battery, but you can run it on a 2S battery. This looks like the Valenian 3500. I can't be totally sure motor, but I'm pretty sure it is. There are all sorts of like crazy upgrades that you can get for this. You know, you can go to the big bore shocks. I would always suggest the steering servo, upgrading to something from Spectrum, like if I have one here, I'll tell you which one I recommend. They're all in all my kits. I've put them in everything. But Spectrum makes some high torque, high velocity steering servos, which are always gonna make life a little bit easier. It looks like I don't have one right here. I think they're in my accessories box, but this thing is just all the body travel you could ever want. You're gonna be able to jump this. You're gonna do doubles, triple backflips, front flips. You're gonna be able to bash the heck out of it. I always take the wheelie bar off because it just breaks anyway. But you know, if you're like a wheelie person, you wanna run long wheelies, this, that, and the other thing, great. You know, these Sledgehammer tires, I haven't run them yet. They look like, okay, so they're from Traxxas. I feel like Proline used to have something called Sledgehammer, but I could be wrong about that. But this thing is, in my opinion, if you have the money, the best place to start if you're gonna bash, especially now that they've upgraded a lot of these parts to the heavy duty stuff, which you just didn't have before. And you have like the nice body clip things, you just slide it in, put it down, clip it in, done, body's on. I mean, that is crazy. It used to take me like 3 or 4 minutes to take the body off. Now you can just pop it and you're done. Again, I'm trying to be more practical in terms of like how I recommend stuff, because the experience that I can bring you in the RC hobby, I mean, the value my channel brings is the experience. I've literally owned it all. You know, and I've been in RC for a long time, all the way back to Nico, you know, or Nikon. You see, I have a lot of kits here. I've driven some form of them all in my lifetime, and the Traxxas Stampede 4x4 VXL for me is the best entry level. Now, would I get it now? Well, I was missing it. That's why I got it, because it's just, I miss it in my lineup for just big air, ripping it in quarries or up gravel roads and stuff. You know, nowadays I tend to want something a little more big scale, like the Big Rock, or like even the Sledge or the X-Max, sure. But you know, everybody's getting bigger and bigger and bigger with their RCs, but there actually is a lot of value in staying in the 10th scale, because when you go big, 6th scale, 8th scale, 7th scale, you need a ton of room. You need an absolute ton of room to run those things. This you can run in a parking lot, you can run in a front yard, backyard, in a city lot, at a park, and not really bring a lot of attention to yourself, not really cause yourself a lot of stress and, you know, angry Karens dealing with it, you know, dealing with it. But again, if you ask me, is this your, you know, your budget RC recommendation? No, I don't think so. It's not a budget RC, but it is, if you're going to get into the hobby and you want something that's going to last and not break apart on you immediately, then the Stampede 4x4 VXL is great. You have to think about, one of the things I try to tell people, especially when they're getting into the hobby, is you have to think about where in the heck you're even gonna run the thing, okay? Think about that first before you even buy or think about what type of RC you're gonna get. If you can't, like, somebody gets an X-Max and they're on like 1/3 of an acre, well, that'd be probably enough, but you know, you're on like a city lot or you don't have a yard, where the heck are you gonna run something that big? 10 scale, 12 scale. This winter, you guys let me know in the comment section down below, I thought about just getting the full micro lineup, like all the 124 scale stuff, because I thought it'd be kind of fun because it's summer, or it's winter time, and I'm in this like temperature controlled garage. I could pull all this stuff out and we could have like, you know, a micro RC off. Those are a lot more fun. They're mostly for inside or outside in controlled environments. Let me know if you want me to review those. But again, this is the time-tested, tried and true, you know, kit that I would recommend any basher. If you want to bash, you want to do jumps, you want to do flips, dips, trips, cartwheels without everything falling apart, the Stampede 4x4 VXL is where I would recommend it. Yes, I would upgrade the shocks. Yes, I would probably consider upgrading the steering servo, but this is not what most entry-level people need, and this thing's gonna last. So absolutely love this new color scheme. Absolutely love that it's back in my collection. I've been missing it. I still am thirsting for that T-Max Nitro again, but boy, Nitro is a pain in the rear. So let me know what you think about the Stampede 4x4 VXL, and there's already bashing videos on the channel of this truck, not the upgraded one, but some of our most popular running videos are the Stampede 4x4 VXL because just the incredible fun you can have with it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.